Clornho 3-bets it with the king 6. Back over to Graf Tekel. There's the call. Pot now 9.7 million chips. Queen 8-6 rainbow. And Graf Tekel with a pair of 8s, a 4-1 favorite to win the hand if it goes to showdown. Second pair heads up is an absolute monster. To be honest, any pair heads up. Very strong hand. There's the continuation bet. Clornho had 3-bet at pre-flop and now leads out for 5.6 million. Just about half the pot, a little bit more. Can't imagine Graf Tekel folding this. Nope, he's going to call. Pot now 20.9 million chips. Another queen. Well, now both players probably assume they have the best of it. Clornho going to check. Graf Tekel checking behind. Maybe inducing a bluff at the same time, a little bit of pot control. And I like the play by Graf Tekel, actually. Might be tough to get 3 streets of value with a pair of 8s on this board. Wow, you can't check the behind, though, there. How do you check that one? There's no way I'm checking the river. It's one thing to check the turn. I like the check on the turn. A little bit of pot control. You also induce a bluff from your opponent. But there's no way I am checking the river when my opponent is checked. Call me crazy. There's the raise. There's the 3-bet. Back over to Graf Tekel. These guys are virtually even right now. Both players over 45 million chips. 5-4-4, and this one's interesting. Clornho with the best hand with ace high. Graf Tekel open-ended. Pot just under 10 million chips. Hey, there's a little spot while you're watching this show. There's a spot underneath the video where you can put your comments in. I'm curious what you guys think about that one. Jack 8 on a queen 8-6 deuce board. I don't see how I'm ever not betting the 8 for value on the river. Check from Clornho, a bet from Graf Tekel, and a check raise from Clornho. And remember, he 3-bet pre-flop, and then he check raises the flop. Usually indicative of a lot of strength. Pretty sure Graf Tekel can at least call this. He might even shove. No, he's going to fold. Well, I didn't see that coming. Graf Tekel not value betting a pair of 8s the prior hand, and this time folding open-ended with the overcards. I am surprised. Clornho on the button. Going to make it 1.6 million. Blinds right now, 400,000, 800,000. Over to Graf Tekel with the same ace-7. But he's out of position. There's the 3-bet. That doesn't surprise me. Back up to Clornho, and Clornho's going to call. Both players miss. Well, that's not surprising. Queen 6-4, rainbow board. Graf Tekel going to lead out for 5.2 million. And Clornho gives it up. Nice aggressive play from Graf Tekel. The oddest thing is that when we were 6-handed, 7-handed, Graf Tekel was actually being the most aggressive player out there, raising pre-flop and stuff. But now that we're heads up, he's actually pulled it back a little bit. Graf Tekel raising, and it's almost as if every single pot, and obviously we're not seeing every hand, but it seems like every pot is raising the button and then 3-bet out of the small blind. This one is no different, and what a flop. 9-6 deuce rainbow. Both players a top pair, and Graf Tekel could be in trouble. There's the lead out from Clornho. Graf Tekel calls. I like the smooth call. Turn to Jack of clubs. Pot is almost 21 million chips. And Clornho checks. And Graf Tekel going to check behind. Well, he's playing it the same way he played those pair of 8s, and I don't mind it at all. A little bit of pot control. At the same time, playing it a little bit cautiously. And there's the lead out for 8 million, and you'd imagine, obviously, an easy call for Graf Tekel. He's thinking about it, though. Yep, there's the call. And Graf Tekel not going to like what he sees, as nearly a 37 million chip pot goes over to Clorinho. I mean, you're checking the turn so you can make that river call. Unless something really odd comes out or you get some sort of strange instinct, you almost have to make that call. Well, this is different. No 3-bet here. Ace 8-7, Clorinho with second pair. Graf Tekel with the flush draw. Clorinho going to check it. Graf Tekel bets. Just under 2/3 of the pot. Clorinho calls with the pair of eights. Definitely not going to give your opponent credit there. Oh, wow. What a turn card. Graf Tekel makes the flush. Clorinho with trip eights. Could very easily see a check, bet, push all in. Let's see how it plays out. Pot is 7.3 million chips. 4.8 million from Graf Tekel. Back over to Clorinho. He's going to call. And the river is a jack of diamonds. Clorinho does not fill up. And he's in check call mode. He's playing this, both players, playing it very close to the vest. Big bet there from Graf Tekel and a big call from Clorinho. And what a pot. And this seesaw heads-up battle continues. An absolute roller coaster ride. Clorinho still in the lead as we pick up the action again at hand 129. But it's anybody's tournament. A raise from Graf Tekel on the button and a call from Clorinho. Jack 7-4. Graf Tekel with the gut shot. Clorinho with top pair. There's the C-bet. Back over to Clorinho. And he's going to check raise right here. Graf Tekel going to call. Graf Tekel needs a 6. Well, a 6 or an ace now. He's now open-ended. He might take the card here, though. Nope, he's going to bet. More likely to take the card, obviously, when he's got a pair, when he's got some showdown value. Here, he's trying to, obviously, get his opponent to fold something. And the river is a 7. And Clorinho, right now, in check call mode. Pot is 26.5 million. And I'm not sure if Graf Tekel can get Clorinho to fold. He's not going to try. He's going to give up. He gives up, and Clorinho is going to win this one with jacks and sevens. 26.5 million chip pot, and Clorinho now a 2-1 chip advantage over Graf Tekel. Jump ahead a few hands here to hand 137. 74 million for Clorinho, 27 million for Graf Tekel. Jack 7 against 10-7. And it's 10-9-7. Wow, interesting flop here. Top and bottom for Graf Tekel. And Clorinho with a gut shot to go along with bottom pair. Graf Tekel bets 3 million. Clorinho calls. Turns a 6. Clorinho checks one more time. And Graf Tekel checks behind. And it's an 8 on the river. And Graf Tekel cannot beat the board. There's a straight on board, but Clornho has a bigger straight. He's got the jack. I understand in a full ring game, checking behind if I'm Graf Tekel on the turn, but with 2 pair, I'm not necessarily always scared of that 8. I'm probably going to bet that turn, especially with 2 diamonds and 2 clubs out there. There's the bet from Clornho. Graf Tekel calls, hoping for a chop. It doesn't happen. And now Graf Tekel down to 16.6 million chips. Once again, Graf Tekel could not beat the board. Oh, wow. It's going in. Hand 158. This is it. Yep, there's the push. And there's the call from Clornho, obviously, with the aces. And Graf Tekel is going to have to get really, really lucky. 8, deuce, 3. Couple of clubs out there. Graf Tekel needs running cards, or this is over. 1, 9. Needs another one. 9 in the river to do it. Nope, not going to happen. 7 hearts on the river, and Graf Tekel is gone in second place. Courtesy of the deal, he earns himself $201,000. Congratulations. But this week's Sunday Million champion is Clornho from Poland. He earned himself 172,000 American dollars after besting 10,351 players. Unbelievable. Last week, we get over 59,000 players and nearly a $12 million prize pool. And this week, over 10,000 players and another $2 million. We've got the scoop right around the corner. That's right, the Spring Championship of Online Poker is right around the corner. Check out the satellites on PokerStars. And as always, all the action and all the highlights here on PokerStars.tv. Until then, I'm David Tuckman.